Okay, I'm almost done. One more. Just one more. Okay. So, this is the original Dalek story. This was obviously the second serial in the series history. And that's it. It's the second story in the show's history. Right off the bat, the Daleks appear. And, make their staple, make their way as a TV icon, really. Both in the show and... Plus, British culture, right when the Daleks debuted, went insane with it. To kind of give you a slightly more contemporary idea, there was a time before where no one knew what a Power Ranger was. And then all of a sudden, one day, they were everywhere, and every kid wanted to buy it. Same exact deal with the Daleks. They showed up, kids loved them, and then boom, excitement flooded the streets. Dalek mania, as they call it. Hell, their success would eventually spawn two films with Peter Cushing as the Doctor. One of them based on this very story, and the other based on the following serial that came after this, that featured the Daleks. So, yeah, this is where all that started, and let's face it, that's a small blip. They're the most well-known villain. As soon as you know Doctor Who, usually an image you're going to see is the Daleks, as goofy as they can look. And upon first impressions, no matter who you show it to, they're instantly going to ask you why is a trash can with a whisk and a plunger. Well, not really a whisk, more of a... actually, looks more like a paint roller now that I look at it, but... how are they supposed to make it threatening? And this story basically is its humble roots, though it has its sillier parts to it. I'll get to those in a bit. They're crazy, they're evil people who have enslaved and oppressed the Thals. Who eventually, through years of retconning, we would later find out that they both live on this planet, and Daleks were another race of people completely mutated by a guy named Davros. We're not covering that. We're just covering this story on its own. This is, really humbling to watch if you've seen anything after it. If you've seen any of the stuff with the modern series and see them here, they're not deep characters. They're all very much, just we're evil. They're very Nazi-inspired still, but I think lots of things were inspired by the Nazis that were very similar to the way they act here. Again, they just, shoot, well, they try to make it look like lasers at you, and that's it. One silly thing about them is the way they're powered. They're powered by an electric current throughout the floor of the building. Yeah, the early version of the Daleks were bunker cars. They were basically that. So, really, all you had to do was get out of their compound, and you didn't have to worry about it. They've, of course, fixed this problem eventually. They realized it was a silly detail. And it's goofy, but they ditched it. After at least 7 episodes, they would have ditched it. Yes, I forgot to mention, this is a 7-parter. And I'll admit, it might have been a little long in the tooth, but not by that much. It wasn't terrible. This is still really fun, very good. Plus, this started another long tradition in Doctor Who. The characters running from frames while in caves. Oh yes, caves are if not corridors. Caves were the originator, corridors were the innovator. It's, just them running from their lives for 7 episodes. Building, alliances with the Thals are on the way. Everyone's fun. Another thing I really kind of skipped out on Unearthly Child is how, honestly, if you did not know the title of this show, you would not know exactly who was the title character. If you saw Unearthly Child, you would have thought, well, there's Ian this Ian guy who, helped find the fire and all that, and would rough up a few people here and there, and you'd think he was the character if you didn't the title character if you didn't know the title of the show. You would think he's the main character. A lot of this stuff's told from his perspective because, well, him and Barbara are a window to these strange new places that we're normally not seeing. And it's definitely kind of evolved more into an ensemble. Everyone does their own kind of thing, and everyone contributes. And they all work together, even though starting another long tradition. Actually, Wonderful Child started this, but definitely stamping a long tradition of it being all the Doctor's fault because he had to look at something. He was just like, oh, our fluid link, fueled by mercury, is broken. It wasn't. He just wanted to go and explore. Yeah, if you want to see all the this is really fun if you know all the, some of the common, you can call them cliches if you want, all the common, cards you like to play in many future stories. Nothing foreign to, well, anything, but to Doctor Who, you isolate the more noticeable ones off the bat. And it is kind of funny to see. Sorry, I appear to be getting a text message. Anywho, messaging. I could cut that, but I'm not a professional. I'm gonna. Let's see. I don't got much to say. It's a nice adventure serial. It feels very much like an adventure serial. We establish our bad guy, who are good guys, who some of the other allies of our good guys are, and you have them go through some fun, tense things here and there. One of my favorite little moments is a Dalek closing in on Susan, and all they did to achieve it was a camera, the plunger, kind of shaking at you and coming towards you, and seeing Barbara, fearful for her life. That was very normal. This was very fun. You have to see it. It's the first Dalek story. It's not a matter of you should. You have to. It's a cornerstone of history, and plus, it exists. It could be like a lot of other Hartnell and Troughton serials and not exist. So, yeah, sure. Definitely go and see it.